Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Tube Light Denko Summer Webinar Series. Today we have Jim Koshak. Jim, I hope I said that right.
You said it perfect.
From Avery Dennison. He is the window film technical representative. And today he is going to discuss safety and security films. Jim, welcome. And you can take the floor.
All right. Hi, everyone. Glad you could make it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
You're muted, sir.
Wasn't. Let's see what happened here.
Never mind. You're good. You're good.
Am I good? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Interesting. Okay.
You're good. Yep.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay. It's not giving me any kind of a signal. Okay. Let me go to the share button. All right. You can see the screen okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So security films are becoming quite popular these days. So we're going to go over some stuff. We're going to start with the agenda. Basically, I'm going to kind of go over the GSA requirements. There's a lot in the background of the GSA requirements, but just to give you a basic run through on that, some of the uses for security window films, and then the film types and stuff. And if we have time, we can cover some warranty information as well. So GSA safety requirements, basically the image you see on the left is the way that they see how to protect the interior of a space. Requirements are bomb blast related, which is the most impactful. So if somebody was hitting with a bat, it's going to be less of an impact than a bomb outside the window. For window film, or let's back up a little bit. The level 1 would be there's no damage. That would not be provided generally by window film. It would be more provided by some sort of a bullet resistant polycarbonate. For window film, level 2, 3, and 3A and B is the ones that we would be looking at for security films. So the lower the number, obviously, the better the protection. And in the picture, they've got those numbers in different parts of the room as to how far the particulates of glass and any kind of fragmentation would go in the room. So if you were looking at 5 in the red zone, that would be really bad because you're completely peppered with glass. But with just a straight security film, 8 mil, 10, 12 mil, 15 mil, you can be at a 3B with what we call a daylight application, no kind of attachment. Attachments could be a structural sealant or mechanical attachment. So a 3A would be a structural sealant, a 2 would be a mechanical attachment. These things are all very common in the industry. Dow Corning 995 is a structural sealant that's used quite often. In fact, most of the GSA buildings have an 8 mil security film with Dow Corning 995, and that falls within their specifications for security. Some places like the Congress building in the White House, they go a little more stringent than, say, an FBI office in Los Angeles. And that's that kind of covers the what they're looking at. And basically the way they have the film tested, UL Lab tests the film. In the next screen, this is called a blast tube. And so the the wooden box you see on the right has a glass installed in it, and the blast tube simulates a high explosive charge with an air pressure blast. It's actually overstresses the product. So if it works in the blast tube, when you get to an actual bomb blast of sorts, it would definitely help you out in that arena. So that kind of covers GSA a little bit. Like I said, we go into deep depth later, but their whole process explains the different types of glass, the different configurations that you could have. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to these numbers and setups. So why use security film? First, we're going to talk about the home. Every 15 seconds, a burglary takes place in the USA. Out of every 5 homes in the USA will be victimized by a violent home invasion or burglary. Most of them occur between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. when we're all at work. Burglars spend an average of 8 to 12 minutes in your home. A third of home burglaries, a household member was present during the time of the burglary. And if you look at the image I have here, 32% come right in the front door. 23% come in the front windows, 22% come in the back door, and then the variable different parts of the house. The garage, 9%, of course, that's if the garage is open. And then, through a basement crawl space, things like this. So by putting security foam on these windows, you're going to slow down how fast an intruder can get through any of the glass openings. Now, the key here is security foam will slow down intruders. It does not stop them from any standpoint. If they have long enough to bang on the windows and hit the frames and do all these things, you do have the potential of still having them enter into the facility. So our goal is to slow them down as long as possible until law enforcement or security can arrive to stop them. Schools, commercial buildings. This is an area right now which is very popular, especially schools. A lot of the schools around the country and the states are having grants that being put together for security film to protect schools against active shooters. Now, security film on these buildings is, again, not going to stop a bullet, but it is going to stop that intruder who shoots at this window from walking right in and started shooting the occupants of the building. So he shoots the window expecting it to fall out so he can do more damage. A couple of bullets have gone through the glass. It gives the people in that first office an opportunity to vacate that space and reach out to law enforcement prior to this person getting in. He could take his gun and beat on the window a little bit, but if they have the proper film, odds are he won't get in before law enforcement can arrive. So the schools have taken it a step farther and gotten the state legislatures to pay grants to window film companies to install security film on various schools. And we can increase the security by applying it to them, as well as commercial buildings with all the rampant, smash and grabs that are going on. You get some nice security film on there, they're not going to get right in. Privacy, we have solar security films that would give you visual privacy as well as security. We even have frosted security film, which I'll go over all of those as we go through this process. The security film helps hold the glass in place during these events. It slows down these people, active shooters, and violent crime mobs. Protects the occupants from the flying glass, and depending on how fast the authorities get there, it's going to protect the owner's property and investment. And then, of course, so we're using a solar security film. We can, at bonuses, the appearance of the building is a lot nicer. And it does make the glass shatterproof. So if somebody was to walk into a window, they're not going to get cut by it. And all the window films we have, including security film, have UV inhibitors and adhesive. So it does help stop fading a little bit as a little bonus. So again, security film holds the glass shards together in the event of a break. So you think about your patio door running out to the pool. The door was open, somebody closed it, you run into the door. If it's an older building with annealed glass, you could get hurt pretty bad. Even with tempered glass, you can still get cut. It's not going to be quite as bad. But once you put some security film on there, you will hit the window, and yeah, that's going to hurt. But the film is held in place by the film, and you're not going to get cut by it. Again, it keeps the intruders out. Generally, security film is put on the inside surface. So if you're hitting it, think of it as working as a catcher's mitt. It's holding the glass as opposed to, the outside would not be your first line of defense. However, we do recommend in a lot of areas to put a security film on the inside and a secondary version of our exterior film on the exterior just to make it a little more rigid and durable. Especially with the old glass. So a lot of municipalities now have codes in place where if you have an older building that has annealed plate glass patio doors, if you sell the house, you have to replace it with safety glass or with a 4mm or stronger safety film in order to make it up to code. Interior and exterior. Interior installation is easier access, obviously, but it's also the main thing you want. Interior, again, it works as a catcher's mitt. The film is designed to hold the glass in place. Exterior, you're going to put it on the picture you see on the skyscrapers. There's issues with a lot of upper buildings that have tempered glass. There's inclusions in the glass that can cause the glass to spontaneously break. So a lot of the larger buildings that have tempered glass throughout have gone to applying a exterior security film so that if the glass did break, it's not showering down on the people on the streets below, especially with a tempered glass. It could be really dangerous. So let's go through our window film of security film portfolio. So in Avery Dennison, our architectural film, the subcategory would be our security film. We have both interior and exterior films. We have a pretty good, robust portfolio of products. So We have our interior, exterior, and specialty surface protection films. The interior films are clear and solar. So our interior security films have, you know, 5 different thicknesses, and they're clear. And we also have what's called our mod film or modular films, which are designed to stack any of Avery's solar films on those products. So if somebody wanted a solar security film that wasn't in the inventory, you could literally create that for them. And as the installation team would get a double application, which would be more money. We have an anti-graffiti film, 6 mil and 4 mil. Generally, 6 mil is used on the outside of buildings to protect the glass from pens, scratching, spray paint, and these such. The 4 mil generally you would use it, say, in a restroom, on the mirrors, and the stainless steel in a bar or a restaurant, or on the stainless steel in an elevator or a subway. The clear poly is designed for polycarbonate surfaces so that you can protect them as well. And we do have also now a modular poly, which goes along with the other modular films. So you would be able to put that modular poly on and actually get some solar protection as well. Again, those films are all clear, and it will make more sense as we go through a little further. So here's a little breakdown of security film. So the piece of glass, and you get your pressure sensitive adhesive, and then multiple layers of safety laminate depending on the thickness of the film. So for example, a 12 mil would be 3 laminated layers of 4 mil, and then a scratch resistant coating to protect the film on the outside of that. And the adhesive is very aggressive to bond to the glass. So if somebody was to break the window, the film doesn't let go of the glass. It holds the glass in place, you know, so that it's not coming in and hurting the occupants. So in our product line, we have 5 different levels of clear security films. We actually, this shows 4, 7, 8, 12, and 15. We also have a 21 mil that we have as well. It's not listed here because it's not as popular. Now you'll notice that these have a letter I after them, or an X. That stands for interior and exterior. The graffiti films have IX, which means you can put it in either place, as the same with the modular products. So solar security films, we already have built ready to go in a single panel, 3 silver versions in a 4, 9, and 12 mil, which these would be something you could use on a school store, on the front of a school. So you've got not only security protection, but you've also got a visual deterrent. If a shooter was coming up to a school with a mirrored window with a 12 mil security film on it, he doesn't know where to shoot or who to shoot at because he can't see it. So, and then we've got 3 different ceramic versions, 2 35% and 1 50% in 6 and 10 mil. And then our E-Light, which is our 70% spectrally selective film, and an 8 mil as well. And we do offer 2 matte finish security films in a 5 mil and a 12 mil, which are great for privacy. A lot of cannabis dispensaries now are required to have frosted film on them so that, you know, young kids can't see in. So this gives you a double whammy for them. You give them a 12 mil security matte. You've given them their code privacy, but you've also given them security from break-ins. Our exterior films consist of a 4 mil and a 7 mil. So if you are doing a school front window with one of the interior films we just spoke of, you would, my recommendation is generally a 7 mil exterior film. And then you've got the glass sandwiched with film on both sides. And you could add to that with a Dow Corning 995, because that adheres the film itself to the frame and bypasses the rubber gasket. So the rubber's still there, it's just we're gluing the film to the frame. So if somebody was beating on it, it's going to take a lot more to get through it. Again, the poly films, we have a 4 mil clear, a 6 mil clear, and a 2 mil modular poly, which again, the modulars, which the other 4, 7, and 12 are listed right to the right. These are again designed to go interior or exterior, and that's dictated by what film is applied to the top surface of those films. And whichever one of our solar films or another layer of security film is applied to those is what the warranty would cover on those products. Anti-graffiti films, again, 4 mil, 6 mil, either one can be applied exterior. I generally would recommend 6 mil exterior because it's a little more robust than a 4 mil. 4 mil generally you would use interior where people aren't quite as aggressive. You know, somebody's team didn't win in the bar and they go in the bathroom and want to scratch something up. they're not going to be as aggressive as somebody who's trying to tag something for their gang. Clear security films, 4, 7, 8, 12, and 15 mil. They're optically clear. They all have UV protection. We offer a range of thicknesses. They're all field tested. They're shred resistant. They create a forced injury protection and also blast protection. They're great for retail, schools, trains, buses, residence, hospitality, pretty much any commercial or architectural window you could put film on its glass. Our exterior films, again, we have a 4 and a 7 mil. They're great for things like, as you see here, the railing in a mall or the railing on a patio. We would apply that to the exterior surface of that. If somebody was to hit it, they're not going to fall through it. But again, it's not going to fall to the ground below and pepper somebody else. Tempered glass breaks, which most of these things that are like this are tempered, like the picture on the right. So it'll break into small pieces, but the film's going to hold it in place and prevent any kind of, personal injury. Keeps people from falling through the space if the glass was broken as well. Again, retail, schools, balconies, hospitality. Okay, solar security films. Again, they're transparent films with excellent clarity. We have our silver reflective, our DR or dual reflective, our neutral films, which would be our ceramics, and our spectrally select versions. We've got them available in 5 different thicknesses and 3 different light transmissions, as well as matte. And then the modular applications are an additional solution to add any other solar property that you might like to, or your customer might like to have on their film. So our surface protection, our poly films, they're compatible with rigid polycarbonates. They're optically clear, UV protection. They don't bubble from outgassing. If you apply regular films to polycarbonates, the outgassing of the polycarbonates will cause the film to bubble, as in the image on the right. With our clear poly film, it won't do that. It's designed to release those gases even after you install another layer of film on top of it. These are great for bus stops, skylights, any kind of polycarbonates. If somebody goes and does an estimate for putting security film on a school, you will inevitably run into more than one polycarbonate panel that the janitor is replaced, as opposed to having a glass shop come out. You'll be able to put this type of a film on there, and then whatever film you've sold them for the rest of the school would be able to be on there, so it would match perfectly. Again, we have our privacy version, 5 mil and 12 mil. Our reflective silver films can create a one-way mirror for daytime privacy. It's good to note that any type of reflective film is going to be a daytime privacy only. So the example I would give you on that would be if you went to the police station to identify a burglar, they're standing in bright lights and you're sitting in the dark. If you were to flip the light switch and they were in the dark and you're in the bright light, then they could see through that direction. So the guy in the darkness will always get the privacy unless you go with a frost film. A lot of people like this on their garage for security and for privacy. Again, collectives like it on there because some states require it, and they've also got the bonus of a security film as well. Anti-graffiti films are great for any kind of paint, any kind of pens, Sharpies. A lot of times they'll scratch the glass with spark plug ceramic, or they'll throw a spark plug ceramic at glass because for some reason that makes the glass break, but the graffiti film will deaden that and prevent that glass from breaking from that type of an application. And certain paints and stuff can be removed off of our graffiti film with like a Mr. Clean eraser, as opposed to replacing it. If it didn't work, you would be replacing the film anyways. It is a sacrificial layer to protect the glass because it's more cost effective to replace graffiti film than it is to replace glass in any application. Again, shops, schools, trams, trains, bus stops, it's really any place there's glass or polycarbonate panels that are exposed to the public for damage, we can protect them, these products. So the technical support for window films on the East Coast is Randy Garcia. On the west of the Mississippi is myself. And then kind of zip through that pretty quick. Do we have any questions at this point?
Let me check real quick. Let me check real quick. There is nothing in the Q&A.
Nothing in the Q&A. Does that mean I did a good job or everybody fell asleep?
No, you did good. Yeah, and we'll just wait a minute and let's see if anybody, thinks of anything and,
Let's step into let's save the warranty for after this because I wasn't sure how quick it would go. But
okay,
let's go into a little bit on the warranty of our products.
okay, sounds
So
good.
this is interior warranty, and the warranty covers all of our products. So you're going to see all of our products here. The safety films are at the bottom, and all of our safety films have lifetime residential warranties. They have 10 to 12-year warranties on commercial buildings, depending on the application. And of course, the modular films are warranted by what film you put on top of it. So if you look at this chart on the top, let's say that we go with an Optitune product. It has a 15-year warranty. So that let's say that you put a 7 mil modular with an Optitune 15 stacked on it, you would have a 15-year warranty on that product. So technically, you could squeeze out an extra 3 years of warranty for your customer if you were to sell them on a modular film and then apply a solar film to the top of it. Whereas if you took one of our silver, ceramic, or Optitunes that are already there, you would only get a 12-year. So you get a little bit better warranty that way, a little pinch there. But they're all very robust and very super clear. The one thing we want to say is a lot of the films you want to edge seal if you're close to the ocean just to be safe. The extra salt water in there could cause some issues, especially with like the E-Light spectrally selective films. The warranty on our exterior films, again, it's at the bottom down there. Our exterior films have two different warranties, one for vertical, which is storefront, and horizontal, which would be sloped, which would be maybe skylights, things like that. So you're going to have 3 to 5 years on vertical, and you're going to have a 2-year warranty on horizontal sloped. Our SF clear films, our 4 mil and 7 mil, does have a 3-year warranty on horizontal sloped. And generally speaking, it's getting more wear and tear because it's getting sun all day long, whereas the vertical window gets sun part of the day, depending on the exposure. And then let's see. Go to the next one. So our warranty claims process is pretty straightforward. You're going to have your dealers fill out our claim form. We need the customer's original invoice, the original warranty form they gave them, really good pictures. There's 2 different warranty claim forms. If the film comes and it's defective, we need samples of that film and good pictures of it in order to process that warranty through you guys for your customer. For an application that was put on a window and there's some sort of issue with the film, or there's a glass breakage or seal failure issue, again, we need good quality pictures of each window. A lot of times somebody will take a picture of one window and say, yeah, I got 10 windows. We really need to get every window they're claiming a picture of those so we can look through it and go over it and see what the process is. And part of that is to make sure that they're playing the game right and being honest. But part of that's for us to learn and adjust our warranty sometimes depending on what the product is. We would like pictures of the film box end label and the core tag if possible. If we are doing glass breakage and seal failure, we request 2 quotes. A lot of people work with one glass shop. I get that, but we like to make sure we're getting a decent deal. And with that glass breakage and seal failure warranty, it's really good to make sure they're aware that Avery Dennison never exceeds $500 per glazing unit. And that includes the cost of the materials, also the labor in the film. So that's going to include, we're going to put $500 towards whatever window is damaged. That includes labor and film, so glass, labor, and film. A lot of times people think that that's just to replace the glass and then they get paid to retin it. That amount covers all of these things. And the prompter, they can submit all these things to us. We can get that claim sent back and credited pretty quick. We have a Monday meeting every week on the window film warranty claims, and we go through them pretty quickly as long as we have all the info on it. What holds it up is not getting all the pertinent information. So if we can get this information to you guys, then you can train your customers on what we need in advance, and then they can make sure that we're dialing it in for them, as they say. And this is the warranty claim form. It's super simple, and just give us all that basic information, and I think that's it.
All right, we did have one question. It says, I thought you were supposed to remove gasket, install a piece of foam, and caulk over it.
Well, that's not necessarily there's people out there that do that. It's not a standard or a necessity. Generally, you trim the film to the gasket, and then the silicone that we're using, the 995, you're going to be putting a pretty good size 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch bead in the corner of the film. Let me unshare my screen and see if I can pull up that image. Bear with me 1 second.
Yes.
Okay, so this will be your glass, and you can, some people trim the gasket, so you can see the gasket on the outside is a little wedge, and on the inside it's not. Now, just for full disclosure, this image is for our exterior extreme product, which we want to seal the edge of the film so that it's sealed in. So this is going to be a little different. As far as 995, you're going to have a pretty good wedge of material, so cutting the gasket here is not a necessity. Cleaning it really well. Any application where you're putting any kind of glazing, you're going to wipe down those. First of all, you're going to put the film on. You're going to let it sit 24 hours to cure. But because we're applying it with soapy water, prior to putting any glazing sealant on it, you're going to wipe those edges in the frame down with alcohol to make sure there's no soap there, so you get a good bite. Wiping that down, you're also wiping that gasket down. So the adhesion is going to stick to that gasket as well as to the frame. Now on a door glass, you could pull the frame off and put the 995 adhesive and then put the frame back on, technically gluing that frame to the, to the film itself, because then you could put the film to the glass behind the frame, glue it in there. There are companies that actually will screw those caps to the frame afterwards. It always was called a riot door. So you take the caps off around the inside of the door, put your film on the window, put your 995 silicone, put the caps back, and then they could anchor those caps into the frame, and you've made a fairly robust setup. But yeah, cutting them is not as a personal preference thing. There's people I know who tint windows just regular solar film that will pull all the gaskets out and then put the film on the window and put the gaskets back. Generally, if you're good at window film, you can cut right to the rubber on a regular application without having an issue with any gaps or anything.
Okay. One other question: what sealant for wood frames?
You could use the same thing, the Dow Corning 995. It comes in black, white, and gray. What a lot of people do on wood frames is they will buy small little wood screws and embed them where they're going to put the adhesive. So when we do adhesive on there, we're going to tape the frames. So if you were looking, just for ease of explanation, you've got an aluminum frame and you got a piece of glass with film on it, and you're going to measure the space that you want that to be. You're going to put blue masking tape on the frame and on the film so that you can get a nice straight edge when you put your silicone in. So you would do the same taping on a wood frame or French panes, whatever they are, but then you're going to put small screws into the wood along the perimeter so that the 995 would have a better bite, because the wood, obviously, if it's got any kind of varnish on it or anything, you're sticking to the varnish and not to the wood, right? So what we do is we'll generally put screws every 6 to 8 inches, depending on the size of the window. And of course, you want to make sure the screws are small enough where they're not going through the window and hitting the glass. But at the same time, they're going to be, it doesn't take much of a screw to stick out for the 995 to hook to it. Just needs something to get a bite on.
All right, that was all of the questions. Oh, we got one more. Don't have a question, but I just want to thank you for your time. Very informative.
You're very welcome.
All right. Well, we'll hold on for just a second here, see if any other questions pop up.
Yes, we did good. Not too many questions.
Oh, one more. Are there
Okay.
any partnerships with franchises regarding safety films in schools?
With franchises meaning like Tube Light Denko?
Or maybe the franchise companies like, well, I don't know what franchises window film would be, but
Well, at this point, what I'm seeing a lot of is that the states are putting out grants, and then manufacturers are going in along with architects and getting their films listed by different schools. And there's a lot of the larger window film companies going in because they have the manpower and doing the estimates. There's a lot of little guys doing it too. We've got multiple Avery dealers in Texas that are getting some really large projects that they're speccing. It comes down to relationships, with the school, with the contractors, personality plays a lot into it as well. Brand names like Avery Dennison definitely play into it. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's on a case by case basis, but the fact that the states are putting grant money out there for the schools is making the schools more looking to do this work, because they're not having to put a lot of their own budgets. And that's happening all over the country. It's happening in Tennessee right now, Texas, Illinois. California's just starting to ramp up some stuff as well.
They commented fast signs. So like franchises like fast signs.
Fast signs is, you know, just like everybody, they see that all of a sudden that security film is the thing. So everybody's, you know, got their hand up going, hey, can you tell me more information? That's kind of from where I'm sitting, what I see. So a lot of people are looking at, you know, obviously wanting to throw their hat in the ring and get into the process.
All right, well, that is all the questions that we had. I want to thank you for your time, Jim. We appreciate everything that you went over with everyone. If anybody has any other questions or comments that they'd like answers on, you can reach us at marketing@tubelight.com, and we will be happy to forward on your questions to the appropriate people. But we thank you all for your time today and just attending. And once again, thank you, Jim, and everyone have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.